Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Sip. My name is Oliver, and my mission is to bring you closer to organic Japanese green tea. And this morning session, I'm using to dive into Asanoka Sencha. So, this is a Sencha coming from the deep south of Japan as well. Cultivar also, or a green tea type, which has been developed quite recently. So what is said that it is a crossbreed between Chinese cultivar and the Yabukita, the most known cultivar in Japan. And this one here dates from the year 1994. So around 25 years ago, this one here was developed. So a quite young cultivar, a quite new one, but it is one that is really good in terms of taste. If you're looking in a sencha to dive a little bit more into a cereally, more kind of a nearly ricey note, this one here is a tea which I discovered just a half a year ago, and I became quite a big fan of it. So today I want to dive into this tea coming from the farmer Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter, located in the south. Asanoka is also mostly cultivated in the south, so it's a cultivar which you can find around the region of Kagoshima. So this one here is an asamushi, so a lightly steamed tea, and it is an unshaded tea. So we have no shading here, and we have no long steeping, so it will be more normally a little bit more golden color of the liquor. But let's dive into it, and let's see how this tea is. So I take 140 Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, and 5 grams of this tea, and then we just gonna give it 1 minute to evolve, 1 minute to really give the taste to the tea here. So from Mr. Henta, what we know is that his own sencha, he does a blend actually of different ones, but the Asanoka is one of the big three which he uses for his own sencha. And this one here is now the Asanoka. He also uses the Okomidori, and he also uses the Samidori, very, very strong in the savory, sweet umami note. Then you have the Okomidori, which is kind of round, sweet, and full-bodied. And here the Asanoka gives kind of a light, cereally, kind of a sweet, cereally touch to it. But it has been a moment I have taken this cultivar to just taste it on a single cultivar side. So I'm very curious now how I perceive the tea now, but it is definitely one of my most favorite sencha cultivars, as it is quite of distinguishing or kind of a different flavor profile, but still staying pretty strong or pretty close to the typical sencha taste. So let's have a look. So we can see it's a little bit brighter in terms of color. So here you see it's a little bit more golden. It's not this typical shade green which we can see maybe with the Samidori. This tea here, it is actually a mix of the first and the second harvest. So Mr. Henda sometimes mixes these two together just to give a nice blend, but of the same cultivar. So it's just to level out the kind of the advantages of both harvests. In the first one, there's certainly more umami. There's certainly more kind of a sweet and savory taste, and then the second one balances this out a little bit. So now I'm curious how the taste is. So it's really it's a typical sencha flavor, which I would define a little bit like of a sweet savory flavor profile of a sencha, which is kind of kind of sweet, round, this nice umami notes to it. But here, what is special about the Asanoka is really that the swings kind of like a roasted flavor with it. You might even say that it's a little bit in the direction of Genmaicha tea, which is a mix of bancha or sencha with roasted rice. And here you really have this swing. It swings a little bit together with a cereally note, a little bit of a toasted note. Let's see when we... Yeah, there's just a small kind of a small surrounding kind of a little roasty, toasty flavor without the tea being in any way touched, being in any way kind of a roasted for a longer time or anything. It's really a pure sencha, but there's a slight roasty note coming with it, and this I like about this tea because it has this nice vegetal green sweet umami flavor which you expect from a sencha, and then there's this small kind of roasty note swinging with it, and this is something I personally like a lot about this tea. It's kind of a little bit, you have this sweet corn flavor, but it feels like you just take the sweet corn and you put it a little bit in your pan and you heat it a little bit up, and it gets this slightly roasted touch to it. This is how I really experience this tea here. So very nice addition to the kind of standard or like normal taste profile which you have from a very nice sencha. Let's see how the taste evolves if we go to the second steeping. Also very short, and now we have a very beautiful color of this one. So second steeping definitely goes much more in the strong green color. As you can see, very beautiful. It gets milder, so the kind of the roasted flavor dims a little bit down. Also the sencha taste goes a little bit more in a greener, so you move a little bit away from this typical umami flavor, so this savory flavor, and you move a little bit in more greener. It's kind of a green, very slightly, very light roasted flavor. Just to give you a view on the leaves. So the tea and the leaves, you can see very beautiful green, so no roasted tea, anything. And now let's give it also a third one. Just do this while finishing the second. Good. I have a little bit, I had a little bit of sediment in the bottom of the glass, of the cup, and there I have a little bit more of this roasted flavor. So when the leaves are also more in the water, they give more of this roasted, and it turns in a slight, very light acidity now in the aftertaste, but very light. So it's a nice, it's nearly a little bit refreshing, but it's not as, for example, yesterday I was drinking a Yabukita from Shizuoka. There you definitely have this citrusy kind of aftertaste, which is freshening up the tea. Here you have it much less in the taste itself, but kind of in the lingering after drinking the tea, just the lingering in the mouth kind of turns into a more refreshing note and gives a slight acidity to it. So very different to the experience when you have it in the taste and you directly have this freshen up. But here it's kind of in the lingering in the mouth, it develops into a more kind of a slight refreshing note. And it stays really around this sweetness. So in the first steeping, definitely you have Some of the savory taste profiles, like the sweetness is coming in with this nice roasted flavor. Then it goes over more into a greener taste, has a little bit more of a kind of a light spinachy flavor profile. But you always have this light roasted flavor which turns around your palate. So this is very nice. This is very distinguishing for the Asanoka versus, for example, a Samidori or Okomidori, which really stay in the lane of the typical, also green, sweet, umami flavor profile, maybe fruity. But this here brings really kind of it's not a earthy, but it's kind of due to this cereally tone, it gives a little bit more of a kind of a lower energy, a little bit more kind of settled tea, and rounder tea profile to this Sencha, which I personally like a lot. I'm a kind of, sometimes I got this phase where I'm looking for a little bit more of a earthy flavor profile. And if you still want to stay in the Sencha region and you really want to explore the Sencha taste, but you want this kind of a little bit roasted, maybe a little bit earthy, more kind of a deeper kind of lower energy flavor profile, then this tea here definitely can be a discovery for you. So I guess you just have to try it out and see for yourself if you like the Sencha Asanoka for yourself. I personally like it, especially now in autumn or early winter, where I'm looking a little bit more for deeper tones, like more earthy tones, a little bit more kind of subtle tone, and there the Asanoka can be a very good tea to drink. Good. So this was this. I hope you liked it, and don't forget, if you have ever any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just write me a message, write me a text, write me a comment anywhere, and I hope to see you soon. Maybe see you already tomorrow. See you and bye bye.